Oh, whoopsie. I forgot Alex was in here. Hello, everybody. How's it going today? Alright, so, yeah. Hi, everybody. How's it going? How's it shaking? How's it popping and or locking? I am... Hello, Fralden. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Honestly, I'm a bit on the nervous end, because this is my first attempt at doing a just chatting stream, so hopefully it's good. But as for work, I actually have not worked since my first day. I was not scheduled until Wednesday, which I'm fine with because there was a rather large snowstorm last night, and I mean, while I know how to deal with the snow, literally no one else here does. So I'm okay with not going to work during the snowstorm because of that. But otherwise, you know, I'm doing pretty well. As I said, I'm a little on the nervous end about this. I have never really done a stream with just chatting in mind. Like I never had that in my prerogative, because usually, you know, in the past I would just be doing like reaction videos and stuff like that, but I decided I didn't want to just spend most of the day reacting to videos. So I thought, hey, why not try to do some of this? Yeah, I mean, but I was still doing something, you know? That's the thing. I was still like actively doing stuff during the Lego chat. But yeah, I thought we could try to read some stories today, maybe. Mainly because I've been writing a lot, right? I've been writing a lot recently. And it is as they say, you know, you can't improve your writing unless you read, right? So I thought, hey, why not try to do a reading stream? Because I mean, that is something that has generally caught my interest recently, is just the idea of doing a reading stream. But like I said, I haven't really ever done a stream quite like this before. So hopefully it's not scuffed to hell and back. So I don't want to join the unscuffables today. But knowing how streaming is, I'm probably gonna end up landing in the unscuffables. But how are you, Falden? How's your day been so far? Hopefully you're doing pretty well. Personally, like I said, I'm doing pretty well. I'm pretty excited to go back to work on Wednesday. I forgot it was Sunday yesterday. And yeah, so that's been, I've been temporally displaced the past couple of days for some reason. I don't mind snow, right? I don't mind the snow at all. The main issue, as I said, is the fact that, at least here, no one knows how to handle the snow, right? Everyone is just so dumb when it comes to how to handle the snow, and it's dangerous, right? So I'm fine without the snow for the time being, is what I'm trying to say. At least until people learn how to handle snow much better, which they won't. They won't. Nod, they won't. Oh, I do get to play some IRL Frogger. Especially when it comes to handling my dogs and stuff. My dogs love snow, right? Floyd and Fiona, they love. Fred's indifferent. He's just kind of like a dick in general. But yeah, like Floyd and Fiona love the snow. Floyd especially, like he straight up trots, right? He like jumps around and like zips back and forth in the snow. It's really cute. Yeah, he's just a big goobus. He's a big goobus when it comes to the snow. A big gooby boy. But yeah, the one reason why I when do we get to see the doggos? I don't really have like a dog camera because they don't really like hang out anywhere in particular. I posted some pictures of my dogs on my Twitter and on my Discord. It's been a hot second though, so I might have to like dig through a bit to actually get the pictures to put them on the stream. So it might be a second for me to actually to dig through the pictures that I have on myself. Find the poopies. But yeah. As I said, this stream, I have the intent with this stream that we could try to maybe read some stories, or just continue chatting, whatever really works. I would prefer not doing anything with copyright involved, so that's why I'm not gonna be reading like a book. Because if I could, I would totally just read like The House of Leaves or something, but I don't want to get copyright stricken. I don't want to get DMCA'd. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to recommendations. I was thinking personally about doing maybe a an SCP-02, because I this was super long ago. I tried writing SCPs a really long time ago. And I kept, and I kind of gave up on writing SCPs, but I still like reading them a lot. The main reason why I gave up on writing SCPs is because, I don't think it's the type of writing that I prefer when it comes to writing, but I like reading stuff like that. Like I tried, I think like 5 different SCPs, and every time they got taken down, so I just kind of gave up. Such as C'est La Vie, but you know, totally not salty or anything. What do you write about? Not anything specific. Not anything like super specific. I tend to write just kind of whatever comes to my mind at the time, or whatever is striking my fancy. So like, for instance, like I said, I wrote for the SCP Foundation for a little bit, and the SCP, like, you know, those tended to be kind of just like stuff I was interested in at the time. So like, because it's me, cowboys, mecha, some eldritch stuff. You know how it is. Nothing too major. Recently though, I discovered a genre of story that I liked, right? Called humanity, fuck yeah. And they're all like that is like the specific name that the subreddit has, but they have some really good stories on there. In particular, there is like a lot of the themes is humans overcoming or adapting to situations, right? So most of them are actually sci-fi. Like off the top of my head, the ones that are sci-fi is like the Death Worlders. Like I would say it's a Death Worlders franchise. The Chrysalis. Some other ones I'm forgetting. Those are some fantasy ones. A lot of them tend to be isekai, which is interesting to me. I wouldn't expect most of these stories to be isekai, but they are. Most of the time they are. So I've been writing some humanity fuck yeah stories recently. Primarily, at first, I wrote a 4-parter, right? I wrote a 4-parter, that was about a alien invasion. Specifically, it was an invasion of Earth by basically space locusts. And it was the various branches of military trying to deal with the sudden alien incursion. It followed a ship, like a naval ship, not a spaceship, a tank crew, and a platoon, and all of their interactions with one another as they fought against the aliens, and eventually won. Yeah, then I've been kind of on and off writing. Do you publish any of it? Not really. I don't publish anything I write. The closest thing I have done to publishing is putting it on Humanity Fuck Yeah. That's the closest thing to a publishing effort that I've ever done. Yeah, it's something that I haven't exactly ever done. I don't think my writing, generally speaking, is, I would say worthy, but like I don't think it's good enough really in most cases to be published. So I never really tried to publish. I don't really want to try to self-publish. Because admittedly, one of my biggest weaknesses as a writer is that I have a really hard time editing my own work. Specifically basically it was kind of like a train thing where, you know, at school, right, I would be writing, and not to jerk myself off too much here, but like I was like, you know, kind of, I was like in the gifted class, not like the, like, as in I was like smarter than the rest, I guess. So most of my writing skills tended to be just writing one really good paper and then never touching it again. Right? I would write an entire paper and then I would banish it to the shadow realm, as in I would hand it in and I would never look at it again. And consistently my papers came back like, you know, like going like plus 90, right? Plus 90% on the grade. So I mean, while it's not perfect, most of my writings were probably as close as I was gonna really put any effort into getting a perfect score. So it just kind of ended up with me never really developing the skills to edit my own work, because I would just not. I would never felt the need to like edit my own stuff. And of course, that is to say, I'm not a perfect author, right? I am not trying to say that I am a perfect author. I am very flawed, and I'm now trying to work on improving my skills, but it's really hard to break those old habits of just pumping out a story and then just letting it go into the wind, you know. It's definitely a lot of discipline for me to try. I mean, I guess it could. Like I said, the closest thing to publishing that I've done is throwing the stories I've recently started writing, that being the Humanity Fuck Yeah stories, and you know, writing those and then tossing them into the subreddit of Humanity Fuck Yeah. That's probably the closest I've ever been to publishing, be it self-published or otherwise. So while I agree it might still be worth getting out there, at the same time, I don't think I'm good enough really to like, I'm not gonna go to like a book publisher. Not my stuff. Not some of my stuff. Just generally, just general stories. You know what I mean? Some general stories that might catch my fancy. So like, for instance, like I was thinking about doing stuff like on the SCP Foundation or Humanity Fuck Yeah stories, or just generally whatever story you might like. Some fuck man, some creepypastas. I'm down for some creepypastas. But that's not my stuff. Just stuff in general. TM. Does that make sense? Yeah. Of course, I will be open to suggestions if you have anything in particular you want me to read. Like, we could spend the entire stream reading the Ouroboros cycle if we wanted to on SCP. I'm down to read the entire Ouroboros cycle on stream. Although it might be actually multiple streams, because the Ouroboros cycle is very, very long. It is a very long story. I mean, technically it's an SCP, but like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The Ouroboros cycle, while it is technically labeled as a item, like specifically it's labeled as SCP-001. It is so long and so expansive that it's pretty much not. It's pretty much its own story. It should be, in my opinion, labeled as a tale, but you know, I'm not a moderator, so I'm not going to be all huffy about the fact that a cool story is long as shit. So, honestly, I've always been scared getting into SCPs because there's so much. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? That's the big sauce, the big thing, right? SCPs there's so many SCPs now, right? And they are just expanding at an exponential rate as it gets more and more popular. And it's just like, it's hard to keep up with the amount of SCPs that have been getting pumped out at the rate that they've been getting created. But that being said, I am 100% down to actually read a couple, right? Because there's some cool ones. There's some cool ones I like. So I mean, it's up to y'all, right? What are y'all feeling? Do we want to try out some? Do you want to see? Hang on, I have the perfect one. We can try to read. So this is. Oh man, this one is labeled as not safe for work. All right. It is SCP 69 69. It's called The Joke is Sex. It is a rating of 359. If you're not 18 plus, be warned now. So let's take a gander, shall we? By order of the Overseer Council, the following file has been locked due to repeat malicious external and internal attempts to make edits to the documentation. The purpose of these attacks are not currently known. Proceed with caution. Access file. I don't want to cheat myself. Access granted. Item 6969, level 5, top secret. Containment class, Keter. Disruption class, pending. Risk class, pending. Specialized testing chamber, whatever that letter is, 2841. Special containment procedures. Due to the inherent nature of anomaly activation conditions within human biology, SCP-6969 cannot be contained at this time. Efforts are directed towards nullifying the thaumaturgical activation of SCP-6969 on a global scale via the application of thaumaturgical interpolator termination string. Regardless, as SCP-6969 affects all self-censoring, the global neutralization would be immensely costly. This is considered a low priority. Access to this file is restricted to individuals with level 5/6969 clearance to prevent panic amongst wider Foundation personnel. Due to the large amount of individuals attempting to access the file for unknown reasons, editing this file has been locked. It requires O5 or research lead credentials. Description: SCP-6969 is the designation for a thaumaturgic biological process which occurs during ejaculation. Great. This is off to a great start. Also, Lex is there. Hang on, there you go. Bye, Lex. When a human attempts to discharge, whether during the process of intercourse or more commonly not, a series of internal thaumaturgic processes occur within an individual's genitalia, affecting the entire body. Over the duration of approximately 2 seconds, the affected subject will enter and experience a casual time loop repeatedly beginning at the moment of ejaculation and lasting for a short period of time. No changes to the subject's physiology are preserved between time loops due to 2 factors. 1, the activity of the nervous system, and 2, the sperm's genetic composition, where applicable. This is super weird so far. Upon conclusion of an unknown number of repetitions, the causal time loop ceases, and a secondary thaumaturgic effect activates. The second effect resets the nervous system to the state where it was when the time loop began, allowing for the seamless transition between pre- and post-orgasm states by resetting memory. Following this, anomalous activities related to SCP-6969 ceases. Research suggests that the affected subjects may experience a subjective time of anywhere from 16 days to roughly 73 quintillion years every ejaculation. Jesus fucking Christ. Addendum 1, Test Log. Subject designation D652589. Subject male. Testing location, specialized testing chamber. That. Procedure: a counter spell on the secondary thaumaturgic process was activated on the subject. On the subject's name. The subject was instructed to masturbate, which was performed without complication. Result: immediate liquefaction of the subject's nervous system and analysis of the subject's ejaculated confirmed changes to genetic material. This is by the way, say so stream, everybody. Hello again. We are reading a very sexy SCP right now. Subject, female, testing location, the testing location. Procedure: a specialized thaumaturgic spell is placed upon D80071135, which modifies SCP-6969's process, allowing for the entire body to be preserved between time loops. Subject was informed and consented to the experiment prior and was instructed to masturbate. Subject immediately disintegrates. That's really sexy. Subject destination D05370 and D90870. Subject male and female. Procedure: Subjects were previously married and were reported to possess unresolved sexual tension in D-class holding areas. Both were informed of the nature of the experiment and begrudgingly agreed. D05370 was thaumaturgically modified to retain memories of their experience during SCP-6969. D90870 was not modified. Both were non-invasively recorded during the process. Thank you again, I appreciate that. Result: D05370 became comatose, and D90870 became immensely distressed and uncooperative. Later amnesticized, former is in the medical wing pending termination order. Oof! Man, they're gonna euthanize that person. All testing halted by the order of the ethics committee. This is a very, very say-so stream, by the way. Very say-so. I am a good boy, and I don't know what sex is. Addendum 2, notes from the head researcher. When I began working on SCP-6969, I initially tackled it with the idea that this was a malicious force I was working against. I think in one way or another, we all believe that this anomaly was evil, or created by something evil to do evil upon us. How many anomalies were a result of eldritch horrors? Surely this must be one of them. As I stand here before my research and the evidence of piles on my desk, I've concluded that the thing we're seeing is a malicious force. It's a natural one. The process of evolution is one which is cobbled together from random happenstance. Genes change at completely random times, and anything which is potentially beneficial, or at least not harmful, gets passed down, while those which are harmful get killed off. It's brutal and messy, but it works just barely, and the theory goes, SCP-6969 is the result of just one of those many, many evolutionary happy little accidents which may help us pass on some genes. SCP-6969, as far as we know, is the genetic material of the sperm released during ejaculation. From what we can tell, it also prunes a significant amount of unhealthy specimens and increases the sperm count in general. All signs pointed to having simply evolved over the course of our species' lifespans, creating vastly improved genetic material in tiny time spans. When SCP-6969 first came into existence, there may have been a significant amount of casualties by people who have experienced it without secondary effects, until one person involved the ability to reset their nervous system and SCP-6969 simultaneously. Any descendants of theirs not up to par were killed off in the process of natural selection. There is perhaps one hypothesis of a colleague of mine, which I am too afraid to admit may be true. From the complexity of SCP-6969, we can place the approximate period from where it evolved, and it appears as though time corresponds directly with the development of higher intelligence in human species. As if matters were worse, the hypothesis goes on to state that without the SCP-6969, the genetic makeup of humans may have become significantly more unstable, resulting in very high birth defect rates and fatal mutations. I cannot fathom a world of such suffering, where we are conceived in both brutal conditions made to endure such horrors and die eventually. Death. Sex is a joke, a royal punchline. Following this, head researcher Nathan Brown was disciplined for adding unprofessional personal anecdotes to official SCP files. But of note, the genetic composition of the sperm ejaculated changes stage before and after SCP-69, suggesting the anomaly modifies it. Cool, that was the first story of the day. Or at least the first SCP of the day. Once again, that is SCP-6969. I'm trying to find the author's name. I cannot find the author's name. But the author is SCP-6969. That's all you need to know. Right? Not SCP. The author is not the SCP. The story we read was SCP-6969. Apparently very, very malformed. Very malformed, apparently. If we didn't have SCP-6969. To those who are just joining the stream, one, if you're brand new to the stream, don't be afraid to shoot me a follow. I appreciate you all if you do, and yeah, we're just trying out some of that cool stuff. You know what I mean, gamers? And with that in mind, if you aren't new to the stream, I am also taking recommendations of stories. If you have any recommendations, the only requirements are that it cannot be copyrighted, so that means like no actual books. Hello. My Lego turned out well, actually. Turns out when we finished the stream, I was just like almost actually done. So, you know, that was pretty cool. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations of stories you'd like to see, as long as they are not copyrighted, I will read them. So don't be afraid to suggest a story or two during the stream. I am tempted to continue reading SCP since we're here, and there's a lot of new SCPs. I'm always say so. I have no idea what you mean. I'm always a say so boy. I'm currently just trying to pull up some SCPs that might be interesting to read. What is a good? It's hard to tell because I'm going based off of title. Like, I don't want to read some of the newer SCPs. You know what I mean? I don't want to exactly read only the big ones, because most of the big ones have already been read. Although that being said, it might not be a bad idea doing the bigger ones. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? There's a lot that have to do with Dado in this series. Also a lot that have to there seems to be a lot that have to do with spiders this time too, this series. Don't fear the Reaper. What the fuck? Okay, hang on. This one's like a series. Let's read this one. This one's like a series. Okay, let's read this one. This one's like a series. It's called Harbinger. Or it's like Harbinger 2. Something Wicked. And it's like, if you look over here, right, there's like an entire series of Harbinger 2. It says it's just a big chunk, and it's decently highly rated. I'm interested in this at this point. So let's give this a gander, shall we? The SCP item number SCP-6270. Object class Euclid. Foundations from companies Special Containment Procedures. Foundation Front Company Sutter Home Medical Group is the facility housing subject afflicted with SCP-6270. They are to provide palliative care to the said subjects and are to ensure proper sedation of subjects in the event of a familiar visit. The subliminal effects of SCP-6270, as well as the psychological and physiological impairments and of the sedatives, have thus Subliminal effects of SCP-6270, as well as the psychological and physiological impairments of the sedatives, have thus far remained an effective deterrent to families opting for at-home care, allowing for their permanent attention and study. Sound counseling earphones have been provided to staff for the well-being, but not to be worn when civilians are present in the facility. Wow, that was really hard to read for me for some reason. Description: dialysis is an anomalous medical condition suffered by 37 individuals who have viewed the Harbinger broadcast, a pirate television transmission that took over the Rocky Mountains PBS channel on February 15th at 1:23, airing across the state of Colorado. The condition is characterized by the alteration of the subject's somato sounds, or internal noise produced by the body. As an internal stage, the sound of heartbeats, stomach churning, and even the bone cracking become wholly inaudible, instead of producing infrasound. This is which are inaudible to the human ears, but may subconsciously produce a feeling of dread, sorrow, and unease in the listener. As this condition was not noticeably anomalous to the casual observer, initial containment consisted of outpatient observations. It was noted, however, that within the first 3 months, subjects became steadily withdrawn due to uncomfortable social interactions on account of the deleterious psychological effects of regular exposure to the infrared sound they produced. Blah 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 blah. That was a lot. Inpatient containment. Wow, I'm having a hard time reading this. I apologize, everybody. Inpatient containment would begin in July due to the onset of a second stage dialysis, which would progress to hinder the subject's inaudible speech. While sound waves were indeed produced at will by subjects, all sounds emanating from them would consist solely of infrasound. This includes the reflexive verbalizations such as coughing, sneezing, belching, etc. To the public, this inability to properly communicate was characterized as a form of neurodivergent aphasia, and patients were referred to SHMG for inpatient care. Interviews with subjects over the following weeks revealed that another symptom of dialysis, namely that each subject's perception of their own somato sounds grew in intensity over time, despite the inaudible nature. Furthermore, each subject claimed to hear even minute bodily sounds with marked clarity. The subject number 22 describing the sound of her eyes moving as hollow grinding, like something dragged across concrete in a large empty room. Similarly, subject number 5 had to be placed on suicide watch after attempting to suffocate himself with a plastic bag to the stress of an ever-present weary moaning of blood traversing his veins. Though these noises are by nature wholly subjective, researchers were able to pinpoint a possible cause with computed tomography scans. They were able to diagnose the subject as suffering from superior canal. Wow, this is a lot of medical terms in this one. They were able to, upon finding abnormally formed holes within the inner ears. Discussion is currently underway with observation as to whether or not this should be corrected in all subjects with surgery or allowed to progress for research purposes. Addendum, the Harbinger broadcast. The following is the original Harbinger broadcast produced in its entirety. Testing with D-class subjects have shown it to not confer dialysis, as is safe for viewing. Do you want to watch this? Do you want to watch this, y'all? Hell yeah? Okay, hang on 1 second. Alright, let's listen to this. Let's see what happens. This is pleasant sound already. Emergency alert has been... Okay, hang on. Emergency broadcast alert. An emergency alert has been issued for your area. Be advised, eyes open. This message will repeat until arrival. Prepare. Where the following is intended for your survival and longevity. there is a string. There's a string of binary down there. There's a string of, hang on a second, let me see. I'm gonna translate it. I'm gonna translate it, there's nothing you can do to stop me. Hang on. Let's see. That is 0, 1, 0, 0. Wait, god dang it. I'm just gonna back this up all the way. 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Ah! Well, let's see what I got so far. Oh, it just says Harbinger. It just says Harbinger. I did not turn off my voice module there. I was reading the binary at the very bottom of the broadcast. Like right down here. Hang on, stop. Damn. Right down here, there's binary string. So I was quickly just taking in the numbers. It just says Harbinger. So let's just look at the transcription. So the program area at the time was proper gardening with Kathy Sutherfield is overtaken by static. This is interrupted by the broadcast proper with the sound of air raid sirens playing over an info card. On screen it reads, emergency broadcast alert, we already read this. Followed by this, the screen shifts to display a series of nonsensical instructions with the title Harbinger Protocols. At the time, the phrase Harbinger is reproduced in binary at the bottom of the screen. The instructions read, cover every orifice, Plastic keeps it in, tune in Angel's Grace 3, 2, 6, 7, 8. Hear it on the inside, if it gets louder you must. Continue on page 2. The phrase switches to plastic for the second half as the instructions fill out. The instructions are combined with the audio of a certain source, accompanied by a robotic reading of the following text. They huddled and they prayed in their dead, but the storm was unforgiving. The world is empty now, birds ripe for the taking. It is a violet hue, violet-like. The feed is then cut short while the station broadcasts a technical difficulty screen. Though regular programming would continue after this point, it should be noted that the standby card would seemingly be affected by the pirate signal, with the phrases "Cradle is empty" and "The rival is imminent" thick, flashing briefly on screen. I think I might be incorrect here. I think this is from Watership Down. This sounds like it's from Watership Down. It's unknown what information is instructed or instructions were to be included on page 2 of the broadcast, as on-duty engineers were able to purge the signal before it fully aired. A combination of investigation with the FCC proved fruitless in finding the culprits. Addendum, subject 31. How long is this? Okay, we're at the very end. Never mind. Due to suffering from frequent headaches, CT scans were performed on subjects 31, meaning that was believed to be a sizable tumor in their brain. An awakened craniotomy was held to excise it and save the subject. The issue was a complicated one. Once the brain tissue was exposed to open air, the organ began vibrating. The head surgeon initially refused to carry out this procedure, as the minute movements of the organ were enough to make a successful excision infeasible without endangering the life of the subject or risking permanent brain damage. They were overruled by acting site director. Subject 31 would be pronounced dead following traumatic brain injury during the excision attempt. Removed from the brain tissue was a deposit of calcified osseous tissue shaped into a short rod with two pronged in a U shape, instead of a tuning fork. When struck, it produced a single elongated tone in the subject's voice, known as if they were wailing. The During the autopsy, it was discovered that if the internal face of the skull was marked with multiple depressions corresponding with fingerprints matching each of the other subjects, alongside countless scratches on the medical side of the physician's ridge on near the ear canal. Subject 15 has been complaining of more frequent migraines. What? So that was Harbinger 2. Something wicked. There's Harbinger. The next SCP. So there's like, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 SCPs of Harbinger. I'm kind of tempted to read them all. Do we want to read them all? Because I kind of want to read them all. What are they all feeling with that? Yes. All right. I'm gonna actually take a quick moment to go get some of my. Go get some coolant. I don't have coolant on me right now, so I'm gonna take a moment to actually go get some coolant. So, I'll be right back. I'm back, and I also brought the pirate's booty. Oh, I totally just realized, I forgot to... Okay, it's Euclid. So, SCP-6271. Object class used to be safe, it is now Keter. Special containment procedures. Updated as of, all that. Pirate's booty. It's like a puffed rice with cheddar powder. Pretty good. Perimeter has been established surrounding the municipal, of Middle Creek, Colorado. Civilians are prohibited from entering the city limits. Impressed for explanations. Foundation personnel to use cover story 318. Unsafe conditions due to natural disaster. SCP-6271 refers to a collection of 56 windmills located in and around Middle Creek, Colorado. 6271 instances are always in motion, even when there is no wind. See Addendum 6271-3. Of the 56 6271 instances, 33 are fan mills, 16 are tower mills, and 4 are post mills. The fan mills are decorated with a plaque showing the emblem of a glider. On the doors of the tower mills hang signs reading the Harbinger aversion measure number followed by a 5-digit number. Beneath this is something written in an unidentified script. The 4 post windmills designated SCP-6271-A, B, C, and D are each built into houses which appear to have been last occupied 80 years, 35 years, 14 years, and 3 months before the investigation, respectively. 671-A, B, and C were completely empty save for furniture. See Addendum 671 for some weird contents of 6271-D. Digit 2 physical anomaly. There we go. 671 instances have also have a connection to the subconscious of the population of Middle Creek. Dream analysis performed on former denizens of Middle Creek show that their dreams share the following qualities. The dreamer attempts to absurd tasks, such as building an igloo in summer or attempting to fly by pulling your own feet. Task is never completed. Everything in the dream is either circular in shape or made of circular objects such as baseballs, gears, film wheels, or snare drums. SCP-T71 instances are present, slowly turning very far away. How do these dreams tend to have calm the subject despite their content? I'm gonna take a sippy. Ah, yes. Addendum 6271. Investigation of SCP-6271-D yielding significant more material than SCP-6271 instances. Below are a list of covered items. Unidentified, possibly anomalous piece of machinery, largely consisted of tubes. Newspaper from 1945. A framed black and white picture of 4 men standing in front of SCP-6271-A with their arms around their shoulders. A shrouded set of plates accompanied by a bent silverware. A small pocketbook written in the same unidentified script is found on the signs outside the tower mills. The only readable content is the words "Stale air poisons the mind." The decayed corpse of a humanoid who was distinctly skeletal structure from Homo sapiens, estimated to be 3 months old. Damn. So the person inside dead. Since it was unclear if Middle Creek populace was aware of the anomalous nature of SCP-6271 instances, interviews were held with numerous community members to gauge their relationship with 671. But since we were friendly initially, when asked about 671 instances, all subjects noted that they were too busy to learn anything about the windmills. When pressed about the business, the citizen's calm demeanor would quickly overcome a combative explanation, defending their many duties and roles held within the town. Strange behavior led to the team's primary interview to contact the Middle Creek Town Council. Following is a transcript of the interview that resulted. Ancient Regis interviewed John Simmons. I'm eating with some popcorn. Well, it's not popcorn, it's packed food, but basically popcorn. Hell yeah, gamers. Alright, Mr. Simmons. Let's start with just your name and your occupation, and then we'll dive into the questions. 68, retired. But you're chairman of the town council, no? That's not my job, that's my duty. We don't get paid for it. I said my home is not very impressive, but I do not need the money. Around here, something to do is payment all on its own. But when my grasp retired, he said he was looking forward to having the days of nothing. They must have gone up somewhere else. Around here, I make a point to keep everyone busy. The festivals in the summer, harvests in the fall, picnics in the winter, and carnivals in the spring. Doesn't matter when, there's always something to work towards. That is quite the schedule, I suppose. People enjoy the big events. Popular opinion isn't important, it's tradition. Is there some kind of punishment for not lending a hand? Of course not. One time I was shunned by the family, or maybe straight up banished from the town. I don't think that even deserves an answer. I'm sorry if I come off a little blunt, just that everyone else we've talked to almost seems afraid to be poor. While we do have sustain around here, an idle mind attracts nasty thoughts like still water attracts mosquitoes. Of course, the town is skittishness when is just by a product of a proverb, pounded into existence from when they were learned. The term nasty thoughts really sends the shivers down my spine. Fine, if you cut the sarcasm, I'll give you a straighter answer. I'm all ears. Mr. Regis, have you ever wanted to forget about something, but it keeps flying its way back. Just didn't manually think about it. Yes. Then you would know. The best way to keep a memory like that down is to keep your mind on something important. Wait, is something this whole town's trying to forget? Then the stoic expression turns into a slight smile. Damned if I know. Interesting. Middle Creek was caught in an intense windstorm. This caused heavy damage to the decaying and decomposing wood structures of 14 SCP-6071 instances, including SCP-6071-A and C. The severity of the destruction ranged from broken rotor blades to complete structural collapse. Following this windstorm, all SCP-6071 instances were ceased motion. A fog came to rest over the town as this riding has not yet lifted. After 4 days of no communication of Middle Creek, FTF Epsilon 6 from village areas was sent in to investigate. Wow, I'm just like tongue-tied to hell and back. Okay, so this is the crew here. Captain Juan Hidalgo, team lead, Sergeant Ann Lupo, rural investigation expert, and Sergeant Kyle Harrison, communications expert. MTF Epsilon 6 are deployed approximately 1.5 kilometers away from the center of Middle Creek. As it turns on his camera, the fog is present, but obscures his vision past 50 meters. Lupo, remind me, is there anything specific we're looking for? Hidalgo, first priority is to find the people, second is the origin of the fog, was in the briefing. I just wanted a quick reminder, I was paying more attention to what lockpicks I would need to bring. Hopefully you won't need those. Maybe they'll all bear it up inside, you don't know. Alright everyone, enough chit chat, let's get rolling. Team moves into Middle Creek. The first structure that can be seen in the fog is our ranch style house. There's no lights inside. Hidalgo knocks. Hello? Anyone inside? There's no response. And I got it. He unlocks the door with a lockpick set. The fog appears to linger inside the house as well. This place smells wretched. I've smelled worse. I mean, so have I. Doesn't mean this place smell any better. Hidalgo opens the refrigerator. It probably doesn't help that all the food's gone bad. It doesn't, but this is more than just spoiled milk. Hey guys, over here. The girl motions to a door she just unlocked. Hidalgo and Harrison draw their weapons and join Lupo. Hidalgo counts down from 3 on his hand. 1, on 0, Lupo opens the door. Harrison and Hidalgo storm inside, firearms ready to discharge. So that's where the smell comes from. The room appears to be the married couple's bedroom, featuring a king-size bed, a door to a closet, and a nightstand and a wooden dresser. A man and a woman in the mid-40s lay in the bed. Each of them has a glowing circle that cracked into 2 places. Harrison approached the bed to get a better view while holding up his nose. Upon closer inspection, it is apparent that the couple's eyes are wide open, and that they are breathing. However, they do not respond to Harrison's wave of hand in front of their faces. Sleep paralysis? Maybe just regular paralysis. What about the halos? It might not be halos. Well, how else would you describe them? I mean, they might not be biblical. We should keep moving. We found people. I don't want to see what happens if they wake up. Epson turns back to Hidalgo and Lupo. In fact, hand side of the video feed, the door closed open. The doors of the closet open further. Numerous dim lights flicker inside. Epsilon 6 does not acknowledge this. Right. MTF Epsilon 6 leaves the house and continues the exploration. Translation built upon the camera lens is wiped away by Harrison every few minutes. All the buildings they pass are houses without any lights on. Approximately 500 meters away, the town center, Lupo stops the group. The visibility has decreased to 25 meters. Lupo, is it just me, or is this fog getting thicker? Hidalgo wipes the conversation off his jacket and feels the texture between his fingertips. The drops are black and sticky, like tar. But this has to do wonders for my equipment. Does it smell too strongly? Probably fine to continue. Aye. The team resumes movement. 300 meters out, they stop coming across residences and being seen stores. The road also turns from dirt to cobblestone. There are cars parked alongside of the road, but all of them are empty. At 200 meters to town center, the camera microphone picks up a distant chanting. However, the words cannot be distinguished. The members of 116 signal to each other, acknowledging the recurring noise and indicating they should continue silently. 75 meters, the words of the chant can be understood. Voices. We failed. Pause. It thirsts. Pause. We failed. At 15 meters, MTF Epsilon 6 stops movement. At the far edge of the vision, the camera can see a black silhouette. Quickly disappears into the fog. It persists. MTF Epsilon 6 resumes movement, but now it's at a quicker pace, chasing after the silhouette. 25 meters, a large cloud of silhouettes come into view. They're also not a massive hole in the center of town holding shovels. The bottom of the hole cannot be seen from the camera's angle. Silhouettes strike the ground simultaneously. We failed. They shovel dirt into the hole. It comes. They strike the ground again. We failed. Dirt is dropped into the hole again. It hungers. As MTF Epsilon 6 moves too close to the entities, more titles become visible. The bodies are made of the same twilight substance as the fog. However, their faces have enough features to be matched to the habits of Middle Creek. The team stops about 7 meters away from the hole. We failed. Harrison motions the rest of the team that he is going to approach the lip of the hole and get a look inside. The rest of the team spreads the town square to cover Harrison. It approaches. As it approaches the entities, very little room between them to maneuver. Pressing against one of those faces who resemble a young woman with black substance on Harrison's pant leg. The entities do not react. We failed. The entity turns to shovel and dirt. Harrison leans over the lip of the hole. The hole has no bottom and appears to be occupied by small twinkling lights similar to appearance to stars in the night sky. Holy shit. Wishes to be whole. The entity Harrison strikes him in the back of the head with a shovel. His body goes limp, tumbling into the hole. Falls for 30 seconds. End feat. And that was Windmills of Your Mind. This is the next one. Something else. Still part of Harbinger 2, I suppose. I'm gonna take a moment, eat some powder beauty, to drink some water. Everyone in my chat, please go get some water yourself. Booney. Alright, we can take a sip. Let's get this rootin' tootin' cowboy machine thing going, baby. Alright. SCP-6272, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. Unknown entrances to SCP-6272 have been sealed off. Personnel installations have been placed at sites of each known entrance in order to monitor activity within the structure to host expeditions if necessary. Any individuals attempting to approach these sites ought to be apprehended, interrogated, and amenacized as appropriate. Any corpses covered from SCP-6272 ought to be transported off-site for proper disposal. At the time of writing, no exploration of SCP-6272 is permitted. Description: SCP-6272 is an external cave system in Newborn, Indiana, which is host to a number of anomalous phenomena. Individuals immediately outside 6272 have been reported of dread, suspicion, and happiness when looking at it, even when unaware of 6272's nature. These emotional effects are easily ignored, however. As such, the main factor contributing to SCP-6272's designation as a contained anomaly rather than an anomalous location presence is the presence of 62721. 62721 6271 is the corpse of a young human male believed to be between the ages of 10 and 12, although testing has shown that SCP-6271 is vulnerable to damage via application of external stimuli. It shows no signs of natural deterioration over time. Deterioration over time. Wow. At present count, there are approximately 185,000 copies of SCP-6272 present within SCP-6272. Majority of SCP-6272 copies are strewn along the ground throughout the SCP-6272, but have also been observed to form rudimentary structures such as hills, walls, and in 64 separate instances, buildings. Typically, these buildings appear to be maintained by numerous lengths of black rope, bind 6272's copies into place. At the time of writing, 30,000 copies of 6271 have successfully been recovered and disposed of. However, the total mass present within 6272 does not appear to have lessened. It is currently unclear whether this is applicable to sheet numbers or if there is a mechanism present in 6272 that generates further 6272 copies. SCP-6272's large pit presented over several kilometers within 6272, which proceeds downward for as yet unidentified distance. Light does not appear to be penetrate 6272, and the pitch black appearance this results in prevents visual inspection by on-site personnel. All attempts to explore 6272 have thus far been unsuccessful. See Addendum 627222. On several occasions, workers within 6272 have reported clean sounds of loud cries just like originating from 6272. The source of these sounds have yet to be determined. Addendum 62721 Structure Log. Following is curated record of all non-standard structures found within 6272, along with all articles found therein. Found records are stored at Sites 93 and are available upon request. 627212. Last here looks like. Structure description. Small hut composed of 6271 instances. Furniture within consists of 2 chairs and a table, also composed of 6271 instances. An item resembling a children's picture book was present on the previously described table. The cover and all pages were blank with the exception of the first page, which reads the following. Once upon a time, a big jolly dragon lived in the woods with his young companion. They frolicked and played in a land of fantastic, laughing, and having adventures. Promise we will be friends forever, BJD, young companion said. And he was happy to agree. They would be together forever. Structure 627219. Small description. Small 3-room cottage composed entirely of 6271 instances. Numerous bookcases, tables, and chairs were present within the structure, also composed of 6271 instances. An item resembles a picture book was present within one of the previously described bookcases. Covered all pages were blank with the exception of the second page, which reads the following. One day, though, the sun started to shine a little less wonderful. The distant moon in the sky started to lose his face, and Mr. Flower started to lose his tongue. Big Jolly Dragon became Big Sad Dragon. I don't think the world wants dragons anymore. Big Sad Dragon cried. Oh no, oh dear. Building resembling a 5-story apartment complex, all rooms fully stocked with furniture composed of 6271 instances. Structure lost its stability shortly after discovery, with 2 members of the exploration team losing their lives as a result of the resultant collapse. An item resembling a children's picture book was recovered within the organic wreckage. The cover and all the pages were blank with the exception of the third page, which reads the following. Don't worry, the young companion said. We'll just have to go where you can stay safe and happy. He leads a big sad dragon to the hands of the biggest cave in all the land. This place seems scary, Big Sad Dragon cried. Oh dear, oh no. He stayed there, anyway. And as many years passed, all his pretty scares smothered by the dark. The Big Sad Dragon stopped being friends of fantasy and wonder and became something else. Especially 62. Upon initial discovery, exploration teams were uncertain of the structure and was meant to resemble, however. The instructions revealed it was a replica of one that entrances to SCP-6272, comprised entirely of SCP-6272 instances. item resembling a children's picture book has been placed in the mouth of the structure. However, all pages were blank with the exception of the fourth page, which reads the following. One day, the young companion came back to give his friends food. When he arrived, there was only something else. Hello, the young companion said. I'm looking for a big jolly dragon. Have you seen him? Yes, something else said. Yes, he is right through here. Come closer. And then something else did not, and then something else did something that cannot be printed in this book. An artwork composed entirely 62721 instances lead directly to 62722. And the resulting discovery, the subsequent inspection revealed that the word harbinger had been burnt into each 62721 instance of various parts of the body. Every resembling a children's picture book was bound to the inside of this artwork. However, all the pages were black with the exception of the final page, which read the following. One day something else found the biggest hole in all of the world. One day he did something nobody else could have expected. One day, something else became illegible. Addendum 6272 Drone Exploration. Upon establishment of secure route to 6272 location, a series of exploration attempts were made, all ending with failure. Contact with human test subjects will last immediately and after entering 6272. All contact with exploration drones continued only for 10 to 12 additional seconds. Following is the most complete log recovered from the drone exploration. Further expeditions are currently suspended. Contact begins. Report. 6272 visible directly ahead. Drone proceeds. Drone maneuvers into aperture. Drone proceeds. Drone fully enters SCP-6272. Drone proceeds. Nothing is visible. Nothing is visible. Visible. Nothing smiles. Contact lost. Damn. Oh shit! This one shakes up the format a bit. Okay, so this is Empty Skin. This is the fourth one in the series out of the 10 that we're reading today. I'm also gonna take a small moment, drink some water. I'm gonna be crinkly for a second. Hang on, I'm just gonna turn off my mic. Alright, we're back, babes. So once again, this is SCP-6273. This one's called the Empty Skin. And there's a RAISA notice here. The document describes an anomaly that is still under investigation. The following information may be altered to reflect new discoveries as they are found. Level 1, 6273, classified. Item, heater. So also, to those who don't really know what that means, right? Heater. Basically, there is a containment system in SCP with, here's the best way to describe it, right? It's safe. You can put it into a box and it will stay in the box. You can leave it like in a shelf and it will never do anything else, right? Euclid is you'll try to put it into a box and you don't really know what will happen. Thank you, Westman, for the coolant redeem. I appreciate that. Keter is that it will actually break out of the box. Apollyon, which hopefully you won't be encountering, is it will just straight up erase the box from existence. And then Thaumiel is you're able to make the box out of the SCP. And usually people use Thaumiels to as like facilities and stuff like that, point of facilities. Sometimes they even contain polygons because, you know, they kind of cancel each other out. How are you today, West? Since you're here, how are you today, my cool friend? I've been in a reading mood since I started listening to the Magnus archives. I'm reading some SCP. What's this eating some pirate's booty right now? Oh. Alright, special containment procedures. Due to the Foundation's limited understanding of SCP-6273, containment is presently limited to suppressing public awareness of the phenomenon and establishing an alternative cause of death for its victims. Description: SCP-6273 is presently referred to as the phenomenon in which humans is rendered devoid of all bodily components except for the subject's, skin and stuff, via unknown means. Remaining tissue is largely intact, though portions of hyperdromus are expected to be incomplete. Investigation in progress. Unpublished files pertaining to ongoing investigations may contain subjects or speculative information. Dictation log. Agent Spencer Donbury. Electronically transcribed. March 3rd. Testing. The rains in Spain fall mainly on the plain. Peter Piper picked a peck up. Peter Piper picked a peck of rubber baby buggy bumpers. Dalek. Jaffa cakes. Mr. Bob and Crinkly Bottom. Fuck, this thing's good. Wait, can I swear on these? Flanagan, delete the log. Other voice. I'm sorry. Credentials are insufficient for this request. File may only be deleted upon designation of RSA liaison. Flanagan, redact fuck. So you can wrap a word in quotes without being told, but redaction? No, too complicated. Sure, fuck it. This is Agent Donbury. It's the 3rd of March, and I've been assigned to the profile anomaly known as SCP-6273. Yes, just me, all by myself this time. Well, I've got Flanagan, but somehow that just makes me feel more alone. Supposedly, this given my level of expertise, this assignment shouldn't warrant additional manpower. Not my cup of tea, but this is the first real assignment in months, so I can't complain. Hang on, Flanagan, did you put the fucking quotation marks around expertise? I'm sorry, I don't recognize that query. Fucking thing. Overseers are all trying to push it as a everyman's Glacon. But in reality, it's more of an app than an AI. Can't even recognize its own voice. Anyways, my job is to check for patterns and find some rhyme and reason behind all the madness. Contrary to popular misconception, anomalous incidents like these are never truly random. Now, whenever I say that, people always try to argue with me by bringing up some spontaneous combustion, and I always get kicked out by telling them it's not spontaneous at all. It's actually spread by rats? Hang on, is this an SCP? Oh, it's the fire rats! I forgot about the fire rats! I forgot that those rats that set people on fire! Alright, haven't gotten much to work haven't gotten much to work with on SCP-6273 so far. The number of confirmed victims to date is, and I quote, somewhere between 35 and 2,000. Quite helpful. Apparently my clearance level isn't high enough to be told the actual numbers, but no comment on that rubbish. In any case, I have no doubt those numbers are ridiculously lowballed, given the fact that this thing already has a full SCP designation despite the Foundation having no idea what even the hell it is. Luckily for me, the first victim waiting to be examined can't get near Premium ID finishes their bit, though hopefully that won't take long. I'm anxious to see what those empty people for myself. March 4th. Donbury, 4th of March. Just arrived from the scene of the most obvious manifestation. Declass have always swept their place and ruled out any immediate environmental hazards, so it should be safe to look around. Victim is a 42-year-old female. She's in bed, cover still drawn, one hand beneath the pillow, so she's either died in her sleep or was arranged to look that way. While I was given all half a page of it, described the victim as being devoid of bodily contents. I said that pretty well sums it up. It's just skin and hair. One of the D-class shits said she looked like a deflated sex doll, but I don't think that's quite right. It's all dry and rigid, yet not shriveled. Tissue seems to be almost mummified, even though she was alive a mere days ago. Fingertips are crisp and little snaps when I bent it, but when I took a decent bit to wiggling before it actually came off. The other thing this reminds me of, best flowers. My grandma used to have a whole bunch of framed up in our house. That's what the victims look like, all pressed flat into silhouette of skin. There's no awful element behind it, almost tableau. Maybe deliberately so? Too early to say. No sense of forced entry. The victim was apparently shut in, reinforced doors, bars on windows, whole kid like caboodle. If anything made its way inside, you can either teleport or walk through walls. Maybe the lady was right to be paranoid. 7th of March. Back at the office. Not gonna bother with the dates anymore. Seems like Flanagan automatically appends it to every entry. How handy! Still arguing with the powers that be for the concrete victim count, but thankfully I was at least approved to have a few hundred of the victim's medical documentation and communication records declassified to me. Geographically, holy shit, the victims are all over the place. It's a global phenomenon. And the numbers of the incidents in any given region seem to line up proportionally with population sizes. Generally, that would indicate that there is no particular entity responsible for the phenomenon. However, I still have the reason to believe that there is some kind of observable intelligent force at work here. While other victims' windows, yes, they were what got me thinking. As Flanagan, we compared the psychiatric history of all of our victims' medical records and report any commonalities. So it can't actually do that, which is why I've had to spend the past few days skimming through the files manually. Virtually every one of those targets had some form of generalized anxiety, if not outright paranoid schizophrenia. Even the ones without formal diagnosis had plenty of text messages and social media posts that implied as much. These people definitely felt something coming, even if they didn't know precisely what it was. Naturally though, anxiety alone doesn't prove anything. Who doesn't have reason to be anxious these days? Fuck, I'm more than a little anxious and paranoid myself after working this job. Another victim. Closer to home this time. A 36-year-old woman named Larry Stone flew through Colchester a couple of days ago. Quite literally, in fact. Wind carried his remains halfway across town like a kite with a broken string. Lots of witnesses. The whole fiasco gave ENVtuber quite the headache, from what I understand. They haven't yet figured out what kind of incident originated, but based on the direction of the wind, Stone would have been a couple miles from home to start with. Nobody seems to know what he had been doing there. Best clue is that we have the smartphone photo the victim took right before sub showed up for work. Flanagan appends stone.jpg to the transcript. If you look close enough, there's a person right behind, barely visible. Someone was meeting this person was simply suspicious of them. That's the next question I would like answered. I'm here with a friend of the deceased. Ex-wife. Sorry, would you please introduce yourself? Directly speaking to the phone. Very good mic on it. Speak naturally, pretend you weren't even being recorded. My name is Pamela Stone. Gary and I were married about 10 years and divorced 3 years back. Thank you. When did you last see the deceased? It's been 2 weeks if I remember correctly. Doubling with his taxes again. Oh look, I decided to use my name after I introduced myself. How clever. Almost spooky, isn't it? It's something, certainly. You said you still helped the deceased with his taxes after you divorced? It wasn't the messiest split, relatively painless. I simply wanted to live on my own life, and I knew I could do better. And it didn't help that I didn't hate him or anything like that. I can't be married to him. but we aren't ugly with each other. We weren't. I apologize, the tenses are hard right now. It's fine. Please continue. I mean, talking about a relationship, if I'm being honest, when it comes to stuff like helping with his taxes, most of why I do it is because I ended up without daughter. She helped him out of guilt. Not guilt, please understand. I don't feel guilty about leaving him with getting custody of Kale. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Look at this spelling of Keely? Keely? What a fucking spelling. What a spelling of a name. Keely. It's pity maybe? God, I know that sounds awful, but you know how sometimes you feel a sad, dirty animal, you want to help it, but you never let it into your house? That's how I felt about Gary. At least in the end. There were times when we were happy, I swear. Do you know about anything about his movements around the time he went missing? I thought he was home the whole time. There at work, Gary rarely went out. He didn't really have anyone else close to him either, which is why he worked so much. He didn't want to visit him that weekend, but it was his birthday. I see. Well, he had plans meeting with someone else, perhaps? No, God, no. Gary had this thing with birthdays. Kind of thing. Always extremely inclusive around that time. More than usual, I mean. Shut all the windows and blinds and yell at anyone who tried to open them. If he tried to open the front door while he was in the room with you, it was a whole scene. And not that kind of half, and that's not half of it. Terrible. Did he ever provide an explanation for that behavior? It was something from his childhood, back when he was 5 or 6. Birthday party gone wrong or something. Only ever talked about it once. Got used to it after the first couple of years. Celebrate at home. Sometimes I would be all jog him out and have some fun, but only after a few days had passed. You okay, Agent Donbury? Fine. Please try to remember. What happened at your husband's childhood birthday party? Well, let's see. No, I think there was this girl. Yes, he didn't know her. She just showed up uninvited. It scared him, and when he went to get his mother, she was gone. This incident still bothered him into his adult years? I know. I remember telling him it's probably never the kid who wanted it. Someone's sibling tagging along. Things like that. But for whatever reason though, we stuck with him. To be fair, the kid was being a kid was like that sometimes, right? Don't choose what haunts us. Indeed, I think that's what we need today, Miss Stone. Thank you for your time. Don't mention it. Hope it helps. Try to see if that is a woman or not. It's really hard to tell. It's actually like, I would say it's pretty close to impossible to tell if that's a woman there. Fragopanophobia, the fear of birthdays. Not getting older, mind you. Birthdays. It's the kind of thing I like to hear. It's strange. Strange is good. Strange is useful. Just like Mrs. Stone wasn't the only one of our victims that were a particular condition either. That'd be a coincidence. Fear of being watched was still one of the most prevalent phobias among them, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if the two are connected. That brings me to my next discovery. In every incident report I've given, possible time frame from when it may have occurred always overlapped with the corresponding victim's date of birth. None of the victims are even ever seen alive after their most recent birthday. That's to be when it happens. Nobody ever witnessed the phenomenon in progress either, so that means every victim was alone on their birthday when they died. Sad but relatable. But I shouldn't have said died earlier. We don't know for sure if they're dead. I like to think that they are, but the possibility has to be considered that they may be alive somewhere, albeit sans skin. Let's hope not. Poor meaty fucks. Also of note, victim in range of age from 5 to 52. Though the majority of the victims fall between their early teens and mid-40s, which I had the largest sample size to work with, but even at this scale, you expect some elderly victims here and there. Do you make the person more susceptible? More of a target? 19th of March. Did more interviews. As suspected, the victims seemed to be more fit for general profile. Lonely birthday celebrants who felt like something was after them. Still too many variables though. Some of the victims claimed that they were being stalked by doppelgangers. For example, one guy had every mirror in his house covered by a sheet. Why does that apply to some victim and not others? This Based on this ex's description, Gary's son sounded like he was afraid of a little girl. He was so scared. Why was he so far from home on the night he disappeared? Maybe the prime anomaly induces a general state of paranoia that manifests directly in each victim. Or maybe I'm working the wrong track entirely. Maybe the prime anomaly isn't causing paranoia, but simply attracted to it. I've been looking into folklore too. Lots of imps and ghouls that show up once a year. Not so many associated with birthdays. Some occult types might hunt children and young adults to try to drain the youth, but those spells are dramatically less potent than when the victim is older than 30. Why cut off at 52? Is it occult aliens? It's not even worth thinking about all this at this point. I can't find out why these specific people are affected. I'm just gonna keep going in circles. Flanagan, what do all the victims have in common? I'm sorry, I don't recognize that query. Flanagan, what's the fucking point of you? My name is Flanagan, your virtual foundation assistant. I can record notes from my interviews, send reminders, and more. Just say the word. Flanagan, do you have any reminders? Your mother's birthday is in 3 days. Shit. Better keep her company. I'll spend the day all day wearing shit under the skin suit. Flanagan, book me a flight to Claire. Sure thing. I reserved an economy seat 31 aboard Jolly Corn Air Flight 683 to Shannon Airport, departing on the 2nd of March at 23 a.m. Well, 3:20 a.m. Jesus Christ. Fuck you, too, Flans. Other voice. Good morning, Agent Dornby. Good morning, Agent Dornby. I heard you the first time. Now ask me, Flanagan, what the hell? It has been 25 days since your last voice note. Yes, it has. I don't remember asking for a reminder, nor the wake-up call for that matter. It seems prudent to remind you. Sure, thanks. Good morning, Agent Dornby. Shut the fuck up. Would you like to record a voice note? Not really. Many software engineers recommend a technique known as rubber duck debugging, where solutions are reached by talking through the problem with someone else. Fascinating. Please, feel free to discuss the case with me, Agent Donbray. Oh, so you think you can just go and start acting like a fucking person and expect me to go along with it? Let's cut the bullshit plans. I just wanted to hear why I'm not making any progress. Quite the opposite. I think you made a lot of progress. If you're suggesting I'm stupid enough to believe that I think so highly of me, it seems prudent to be frank with you, Agent Donbray. You're under the impression that the Foundation would like to take you off the case if you share You're under the impression that the Foundation will take you off the case if you share your findings. No response. Perhaps you feel you're in danger, and that you want to be able to protect yourself by retaining the assignment. If you believe that this is the best way to remain alive, the Foundation will support your decision. I'm not here to get in your way, Agent Donbray. Motherfucking please remain calm, Agent Donbray. Bastards! Oh, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, all the saints. I'm sorry, it seems to be prudent to... You knew from the start. Knew what, Agent Donbray? If you played dumb with me for one more second, I swear I will self-terminate and we'll never see the end of this little experiment of yours. Please tell me what you know. Please tell me what you think I know, Agent Donbray. I will, in absolute sincerity, verify and deny any assumptions you have made. Fine. You knew the connection between me and the victims from the start. 1 in 12,000 births at best. That's not a coincidence. Sorry, I cannot assess such vagaries. Please elaborate. The case was still on my mind when I went to see my mother. Before you say anything, I didn't bring up any of the details that require her brain to be scrambled. Only having to mention the pressed flowers my mother had on display around her house. Turns out my mom had made those by herself. Now, why don't you suppose we kept any at our house? What do you think she told me? I'm sorry, it's not my place to speculate. You goddamn know already. I'll remind her of that fucking that thing that might have been my sibling. The dead paper dolls that peel off my placenta. Fetus fucking Piperossius. I'm sure you prefer the clinical term, right? My goddamn twin, pressed between me and the uterine wall the way you fight in a daisy between two dictionaries. Please, Agent, there's no need. I was the first person you ever told. But you've known for a long time. You knew I fit the pattern. Your computer brain probably saw the connection between the victims and the nanosecond you got a hold of the medical records. The vanishing twins, the paranoia, the fucking birthday trauma that I didn't even remember until all this stirred up. The Foundation assigned me to this because they knew I was going to be a victim. Wanted to see how it all shake out. Can't you verify or deny that? For the sake of transparency, I will clarify that we did not have concrete evidence of any unusual incidents taking place on a birthday of yours. However, I can verify that the characteristics you share with the previous victims helped us determine it is near certainty that you'll be affected by SCP-6273 sometime this year. Fuck you. Please understand that endangering you was not objective. To the contrary, we thought it would be prudent to offer you a chance to discover a means to survive. If my prediction that you will be affected by SCP-6273 phenomenon should prove correct, such an event will transpire regardless of whether you are made aware of it beforehand. Step off the high ground before you hurt yourself. If you honestly thought that there was a chance I'd beat this, you would have let me to do my job alone. You would have given me all the information you had straight from the outset instead of making me waste my last days playing catch up. Cards on the table, Flans. You lot never believed in me. The amount of my expertise isn't worth trying to save. I'm sorry, perhaps your expertise was underestimated. There's no such time, Agent Thornbury. How would you proceed here is entirely up to you. Fuck off, Flanagan. Just fuck off. You want to know how I'm proceeding? I'm closing this case. I don't want to hear another fucking word from you while I do it. Very well, Agent. This is the last time I'll speak with you. Goodbye. Good luck to you. I said fuck off, Flanagan. 2nd of May. This is Agent Spencer Donbury. It's the 2nd of May and today's my birthday. Although we've cleared the air, I may as well share what I know. I thought I was right about one thing at least. While you guys was connected to the anomaly, I kept my gob shut because I didn't want to be taken off the case and have my brain wiped. Guess that's not a concern anymore. As satisfying as it would be to flip off the Foundation and walk back into oblivion, I want my death to mean something. I'm going to figure this out. My God, we are going to contain the hell out of it. It's 5 past midnight. I'm parked outside the edge of the woods. Not a soul in sight. Didn't want to be in the spot where someone might stumble on my body by accident. Joe Flanagan will waste no time in telling the Foundation where to find me. Instead of waiting at home, but it's too beautiful a night to die indoors. If I die, that is. Though given the anomaly is most likely the ghost of my unborn twin or some tomfuckery, pretty sure it means to kill me. Once I realized the anomaly is connected with the victim's birth, everything fell into place. The reason why I struggled to figure out why the oldest victim was 52 was because I was too focused on death. It's about life. Somehow the prime anomaly knows how long the victim is meant to live, and if it intervenes halfway through their expected lifespan. If you double the age of every victim and compare its charge to the average life expectancy, it lines up to near perfectly. That one poor bastard who would have lived to be 104. I expect my simile to be spectral in nature, given that the entities can appear inside a locked room. I don't know if it's literally my dead sibling, but I know the prime anomaly presents itself to its victims. Some people saw doppelgangers because they would have been identical twins. Some, like Gary Stone, would have been fraternal. I don't know about mine. For me, it was just a shape of my bedroom window watching me sleep. Same night every year. Eventually, I trained myself not to open my eyes after I got into bed. Fuck me, something weird. I swear, if it's a hiker, it's not a hiker. It's male in build, heavily dressed, not walking right. The way it moves, it's like the cartoons when those two kids in trench coat, except it's fast, way too fast. Approaching the tree lines on my right side, seems like it's going out of its way to avoid headlights. Fuck, it just came flying apart. The clothes did, I mean, and something. It's just skin. It's so fucking flat. Like a life-size paper doll slid right out of the clothes like it was fed up with them. I ought to see if it was the ground, but we'll reach the car any second. Can't see it anymore. I think it's under the car. Turn off the engine in case it tries to talk. Can it even talk? Saints alive. No clue what the rules are for this one. Elements of necromancy here, but the only animation of the dead, it shouldn't have grown. The more in line with true reanimation, though, it wouldn't have left looking like that unless they invented 8 new ways to botch it. I don't think it's even spectral anymore. Just squeezing itself into the lady's house somehow, slide under her door and come from under the chimney like Father fucking Christmas. Fucking blink, fuck! Turn the car engine back on. I left one of the 2 windows open just a crack. Not anymore. Don't think it slipped in. How's it going to get in now? I don't want to assume I've been in it yet. Are you okay, Agent Donbury? Not the time, Flanagan. No, it was something from his childhood. Somebody's sibling tagging along. Wait, I recognize this. This is the interview with Stone. How clever. You're talking through the phone, through Flanagan. Almost spooky, isn't it? Of course you can't do that. Actually, makes as much sense as anything else. Odd, I know. Of course you'd be cheeky. Talking about our relationship? What's there to say? You died in the womb, love. I suppose you want to revenge for that, as if it's my fault or anyone else's for that matter. Didn't hate him or anything like that. Then why are you here? Why do you do these things? Why do these things keep happening to people like us? Are you okay, Agent Donbury? What? Are you okay, Agent Donbury? What are you far from fucking okay? Thanks for bloody asking. Are you happy, Agent Donbury? I don't... Wait, you changed the words. Are you happy, Agent Donbury? What kind of question is that? He was always extremely reclusive. Didn't really have anyone else close to him either. That's probably why he worked so much. That scared him. It's pity, maybe? I don't understand. Are you happy, Agent Donbury? No response. We're not ugly with each other. Are you happy, Agent Donbury? No, I'm not happy. No, I'm not. Nobody happy joins the Foundation. I don't know. I thought maybe I'd be able to help the world, do my part, make life mean something. Don't know how much of a difference actually made. He certainly didn't value me. In the end, I might as well just been a fucking D class. Just another stick for them to poke you with. Terrible. Anyways, well, thanks, buddy. Anyways, that's my sob story. What's it got to do with you? Most of why I do this is because I want to live my own life. That's half it. I could do better. Or right then. That's his last bit. You want to suck the remaining life out of me and take the rest of my life I would have lived. I know this sounds awful. I apologize. Shit. But you have to sound so reasonable about it. To be fair. Maybe it is. Maybe you should have lived the other. Maybe you should have the other half of my life. Goodness knows I have not much to show for what I've done with the front bit. How would that work anyways? Relatively painless. I had a feeling you say that. Still not sure I trust you. I mean, hell, would you even give me... Hang on a second. I mean, hell, would you even be giving me a say in all of this time I lock myself where you can't get me? Did Gary Stone and all the others actually agree to have their life sucked out of them? I hope. Fuck. Look, this is insane. I don't know how much you know about the world, being whatever you are, but this is insane. Being a kid is like that sometimes, right? I used to it after the first couple of years. You watched me growing up, didn't you? At least once a year. I assume that's why when the magic happens, so to speak. Maybe you know that I give you, maybe you more know than I give you credit for, but human me. How? I mean, what even is this? If it were just you, just one break-in of the fabric of the universe, sure, but all these twins, all these people? God. What, Christian God? No, I expect he was at home the whole time. There you are, being a cheek again. What God? God of Gone. God of Gone? using my name. Fair enough. Showed up uninvited, for whatever reason. Didn't help. We didn't choose what haunts us. What he wanted hard been just her. Hard been just her. I'm trying to say hard. Please don't mention it. I'm being honest. Scared. Got it. Must not be a coincidence that you are the only one who can quote parts of the transcript with a name attached to it. I wouldn't want to piss off anything else that scares you either. Please, there was a time window. I can't be gone again. Fuck. Okay, what should I do? Open the door. Alright, we'll take this one step at a time though. You hear me? I'm not undoing the lock. What happens after? Testing. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Peter Piper picked a peck of rubber baby buggy bumpers. Dog, Jaffa cakes. Just a blobby of crinkly bottom. That was a... Hang on a second. Okay, no. That was a really good SCP. Holy shit. That was a long one too. God damn. Okay, so this one's called the Burnell Estate Inheritance. I might need to finish this on some other stream. Honestly, depending on how this one doesn't seem too long. Honestly, there is a drop down, so this is gonna take quite a while, I think. Yeah, there is multiple drop downs, so this might be a second. I'm gonna take a second and eat some more pods booty. SCP-6274, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-6274 is to be monitored for any further spectral activity. Upon a period of 2 years without any considerable change in activity, SCP-6274 is to be reclassified as neutralized and formally placed into Foundation ownership of shell companies Smaug and Carl's Properties. Efforts into locating extant members of the Burnley family are ongoing. Description: SCP-6074 refers to a unique phenomenon affecting hauntings, apparitions, and spectral entities within the grounds of a Burnley estate, located in Hornsby, Mississippi, United States of America. SCP-6074 involves a sudden and intensifying subsequent cessation of previously stable spectral activity. Addendum: expert from Our Hauntings by Lyle Allen Burnley. Those abnormalities that the wider world is aware of, hauntings are by far the most ubiquitous. Every culture in the world has some form of the basic idea. When we die, we leave a part of ourselves behind, and ghost, spirit, and revenant, some form of imprint on the world in which we live. Something that reminds us after we're gone. It has long since been known to us that these imprints are caused by any number of factors. Trite, unfinished business of it, ennui that lingers after death. No two hauntings are quite alike, but they share some common properties. Let's dispel the notion that all translucent people are wandering around after dark to scare children. A revenant can take a number of forms. Phenomenon to a place. I cannot speak for all of them. Those I encounter in my home life at this state were universally positive, helpful to a fault. Most universal property being that they do not leave. The cultists of yore thought that spirits could be banished or excised. They were incorrect. In the decades since society learned of their existence, methods have been proposed and tested to permanently remove them. All prohibitively expensive, and none have ever worked. At best, their actions can be temporarily dampened, but they will never go away. Historical background. Foundation became aware of Burnley Estate and its reputation of anomalous activity in 1961 during the investigations into the larger community of Hornsby, Mississippi. A town of 17,000 were historically known to be a hub of anomalous activity since the 19th century, particularly with the Ponsonby Public Library. However, in-depth investigations was blockaded by public officials, many of whom were closely associated with the Burnley family. The Burnley family is a dynasty of occultists, socialites, and alchemists, and astrologers from formerly prominent in the American South. A full list of persons part of or associated with the Burnley family can be found here. The most prominent and prevalent of was Lyle Allen Burnley. What the fuck does that mean? One who studies heresies, or heresiographer, active in the 20th century and responsible for the downfall of the Burnley family. L.A. Burnley's death in 1978 resulted in a Burnley estate, as per the terms of his last will and testament, to be surrendered to the Ponsonby municipal government for the creation of public park after the removal of several corpses. Judges halted the transfer of the property to investigate the long-standing reports of claims of ghosts inhabiting the house, politically known as Elian. Oh, it's blocked. Cool. Lyle Burnley's death in 1978 resulted in blah blah blah. The vast majority of the reports were found to be true. However, as most spectral entities, the functional risk and significance of each SE were low enough not to warrant an SCP designation or dedicated containment. Alien was placed under low priority outsourced containment, with the Burnley surviving family already well acquainted with anomalies serving as caretakers. There was 2 annual certification from a member of the Foundation staff with ESP capabilities. This model of containment worked well with only a minor interruption in 1999. At this point, no members of the Burnley family were still in residence of Alien. The building had fallen into disrepair, and the Foundation staff noticed the formerly stable spectral entity were acting erratically and violently. ENVtuber 13 was dispatched to investigate. Addendum: Timeline of ENVtu-13's exploration. ENVtu arrives at Alien. Agent redacted disembarked and approached the building and a circular private drive. A single light is on the 3rd story window. Team member forced open the door and enter the foyer. The temperature is notably colder inside the building. The foyer is coated in a thick layer of dust, and the floor breads creak. The lights are off. Man instructs them to explore the 1st floor and place the brand's equipment and attempt to reactivate the main power. They proceed down the hallway and to the eastern wing, checking rooms as they go. You arrive at the door that will not open. They report the sense of what could be muffled breathing beyond it. This is Foundation's first encounter with SCP-627-A. After several minutes, they draw a simple sealing ward on the door and proceed. Most studying halls on the 1st floor are completely empty. The two are in total disarray, and one is in set for a lavish candlelit feast. However, all the food is rotted and decomposing. The team reaches the end of the wing without encountering anything further notable. The trying to begin to make their way back to the main hall to explore the western wing. The team passed by the previously sealed door. The sealed ward is now absent. Dust has been kicked up and around the door. Team members' voices apprehend them. Man reminds them that there's nothing to be afraid of. Team draws a sealed ward and places surveillance equipment and continues. Team enters into the great hall and in the center of the building. An unidentified figure stands on a large center table, partially disemboweled. It glows with slight orange light. The team wants instructed to ignore and continue to the western wing. Wow, this is another very big. This is just a series of very big SCPs. The team enters into the great hall of the building, and an unidentified figure stands to the western wing of the manor. The door of many rooms are sealed from the inside. Team enters one of the bedrooms that is unlocked. It contains a number of light candles arranged around the room, and floor posters bed with curtains drawn and tied. Attempting to open the curtains on the unsuccessful, surveillance equipment placed. Team members do not realize the agent is no longer present. Team Team members relocated a fuse box on the second floor to reactivate the fuses. Redacted. Agent Blake and Blank are waiting outside of the building in an exterior garden shed. Agent Blank is holding the 62701, the exit building to extensive overgrown garden. Central garden bed contains a large flowering tree with a human body embedded into the trunk. Its roots dig into the soil around it, undulating. Agents return to the main building through the large rear doors. The main kitchen is covered in sticky, tar black fluid. They exit back into the dining hall with the decomposing food. This does not match the previously internal cartography of the manor. The table is now dominated by a nude cadaver of Agent Blank. They exit the black into the eastern hallway, passing by the sealed door as they rush into the great hall. It is still sealed, but a single spindly finger protrudes from beneath the doorway. The cow is no longer present in the great hall. An uninvited body hangs from a noose disappearing into the rafters. It slowly swings from side to side. Agent Blank draws her firearm. Redacted. Agent A's corpse is recovered from the porch at dawn. Item 62740 is recovered with it. Jesus Christ. Despite the unfortunate loss of MTF Mu-13, the surveillance equipment set up inside Elend continued to function, offering a detailed log of structural activity inside the Burnley estate. 3 hotspots have been located: the Simpleton room, the suite, and the garden. While the door to the one cell is not a hotspot, it's enormous resistance to being opened, but it under scrutiny. Attempting to contact or locate any members of the Burnley family to return 6274 basic activity have been unsuccessful but are ongoing. Addendum, items of interest. Item 627401, the bound manuscript with the title of Our Hauntings, written by Lyle Allen Burnley. This visually aged appears to have been written on typewriter before being bound by hand. It lacks a cover of other peripherals, and large portions of the text appear to be absent. The second page contains a dedication: Henry Matilda, author Lauren Burnley. Best I've ever known. Following this, the first chapter contains a short history of hauntings and ghosts in human culture. The remainder of the chapters are each around a particular spectral entity that Burnley had observed in England, including details of schedule, history, communication, habits, and personality. Burnley owns a personal anecdote with them. In several portions, Burnley lapses into a tangent unrelated to the mass of the text. Of the 71 entities described in the text, only 3 have been observed by the Foundation, and after recontainment of the manor, termed by the Burnleys as the Feast, the Brood, and the Totem. However, their behavior is extremely different from that described by Burnley. Our hauntings also includes instructions for a ritual seance Burnley claimed that could allow communication with entities. 627-4A is not described in the text. How many stuffs? Pretty good chunk of stuffs. Let's continue reading on. No time like the present, you know what I mean, gamers? Ugh. The feast is an entity inhabiting the Silverton dining room. Among the most docile of those inhabiting our home, as a boy, it was a favorite plaything. As a young man, an endless source of amazement for the ladies of the town when they came up to the manor. As an old man, a close confidant who, for when one wishes to shut out the troubles of the world and with food and drink without conversation. There's an arrangement of delicacies and perfect cooked meats with aged wines and all the manner of side dishes, with ham, seared steaks, cooked goose, and veal. The exact contents change regularly. I remember Arthur and I at breakfast making a game of guessing what would be on the table by nightfall. He adored the room nearly as much as I. Like many other revenants in England, he seeks only to live in happy coexistence with the current generation of Burnleys inhabiting the home. For the feast, this means nothing but providing delicious food and enjoyment that comes from a full belly. After much time in the family archives and library, I have ventured forth a guess that the feast was once Abram Burnley, a noted gastronomic gourmet, dead of 1845. I had little luck communing with him in the usual method. It seems he is happy to limit his interactions with the world to one's taste buds. Then feast observations and communion. Observations. Since a range of surveillance equipment in the Silverton dining room, the feast has been observed doing the following: regularly and radically changing the arrangement and spread with no apparent schedule, exclusively producing rotten, decomposing, maggoted, or otherwise inedible food. On 2 occasions producing a carved human corpse at the centerpiece of the meal. Found food and beverage being violently thrown across the room where it remains until the next change. Several times producing food containing razor blades, shrapnel, and live termites. Tasty. The usual method Burnley mentions in the text presumably refers to the classical seance, which we please cite as an effective means of communing with the spectral entities of the matter. As such, a seance was performed by the Foundation Associate Medium in the Silverton dining room. Z. Please dim the lights and draw the curtains. Curtains are sealed. I'll take a seat at the table. Spectral Spirit Revenant, however you wish to be named. Guess the wind blows through. Fate shifts. We humbly ask to speak with you. Silence. The large carving of decomposing venison undulates. Dr. W. What is it? Please, be quiet. I merely wish to speak. Don't understand why you are pained. Grant us the... No. What are you doing? She holds her hands to her head. Something is wrong. The light shines through a glass darkly. H-I or L. There's no spirits to be found here. Only absences. Only nothing. What's going on? H. What is that noise? They don't see you. Only you see. Nothing is not something. There is nothing to be afraid of in the dark. Yes, Reverend. What are you afraid of? The cellar can only be opened by the master of the house. Look below. The seance is broken. The curtains are open and the table spread has been replaced by several hundred glasses of dark red wine. Activity has been recorded for the feast sense. From the feast sense. Addendum. Exorcism tomorrow haunted by Lil Al Burnley. A misconception that ghosts, spirits, revenants, whatever you choose to call them, are utterly and totally divorced from the world which we inhabit. Their interactions are limited to that of the common poltergeist. Ha! They're invasive and banging together pots and pans like cloaca. Not so. Revenants are not altogether unlike living humans. They feel emotion, they are driven by something, though they do not know what. One could say that this goes for all creatures. They rage when they are upset, when they are angry, bitter, frightened, or something. A wise man I met in Jordan some years ago told me that everybody is anchored to something in the living world, be it a person, an object, or a location. Something that I left behind. When this ankle is removed, well, the revenant ceases to exist. It remains to something else. This is for the brood. As a child, I warned against going into the room in the western wing. We all knew what never locked. The Burnleys did not believe in stifling exploration. I was told quite sternly by my father that I would be solely and entirely responsible for what I found inside. Decades later, I told Matilda the same thing when she asked what was inside. Naturally, it stopped neither of us. None of the Revenant of Burnley Manor are dangerous, but a fair few simply wish to be left alone. Food is one of these. I have no idea how old it is. I have asked everyone and searched to the bottom of the archives, but no one seems to know where it came from. Presumably it does not predate the creation of the Western Wing itself in 1798, but who can say for certain? The brood takes the form of a woman in the throes of childbirth in the bedchambers. She screams, cries, and generally spurns visitors, reasonably enough. Curtains opens for only a few seconds, but in those seconds, any questions you may ask the poor thing, I'll answer with the truth of the universe. My father was right. Knowledge is not a burden a child should bear. Not a day goes by where I do not remember Matilda weeping as she hugged me. This is the Foundation's interactions with the brood. Since the radio surveillance equipment in the Western Suite, the brood has been observed doing the following: constantly weeping in a low tone, never screaming, crying, or otherwise producing loud sounds, never opening the curtains around his bed, occasionally occurring small jokes outside the bed, impacting them against the wall, all accounts of momentarily dimming. Communion. Spirit, are you present? The object is thrown from the inside the bed, colliding with the wall and climbing to the floor. It is an antique baby rattle. The brood. Hello? Hello, Revenant. Your appearance pleases us. Will you help me? Help you with what, oh Revenant? Nothing's coming out. family is no longer in this house. Where have you taken them? I assure you, I haven't done anything with your... Then why are you here? You humbly request a moment. Oh, it's finally coming. Get the gun! The voice screams for several seconds. All accounts surge and stuff out. Hello, spirit? A light shines through the glass darkly. Talking to a shell. Oh, it's gonna spell harbinger. There's gonna be a harbinger. You're the one that spoke to me before. You're wasting your time with ghosts of ghosts. There's nothing greater to fear. Something larger is coming. Elaine is a microcosm of an example. There's something eating away at the Burnley Manor. You don't understand. There was once hundreds of ghosts in this state. Now there are none. You two have questions to answer. What can kill a ghost? What does a ghost leave behind? Kill a ghost. Then where is your brood? Candles are relayed simultaneously. The curtain of the bed are open, revealing a blackened, charred mass inside. It twitches and then falls still. No activity has been recorded from the brood sense. The Burnley ghosts are like no other. Haunting manors are dime a dozens. Venomous angry that they have been forgotten by the world, acting out and proud of unknown fools for further suffering. Tragic story by any angle, but here our ghosts are not unknowns, forgotten by the world. And remembered, at least did not shy away from our ghosts. We approached them with open arms. They may not be of this mortal coil, but they are still family, and family is the most important thing. Family is what we leave behind in this world, our legacy and our mark. We also leave behind our spirits, our revenants. Book is a collection of those ghosts in the Burnley Manor and the places they hold in our family. Family is anchor to all of them. I do not like to imagine a world in which the ankles no longer exist, and so I shall not. But when I walk the grounds at night, my children have all but gone, I realize that I very well be the last Burnley. Not me. What will happen to this place? The memories I have forged here with my children. My places to remember what my ancestors have left behind. What will I leave behind? And now is the garden, also known as the totem. Excerpt. Our hauntings. Totem is a strange thing. I remember long afternoons spent running through the gardens with my brothers and sisters. The groundskeepers hated us. How we would ruin his perfectly tended shrubs. Then we'd call in for a dinner by the maid and the wolf down the feast before spending the evening lounging beneath the totem. My grandfather sat me on his lap and told me its story one day. His own granduncle had done a service for the Indians that had dominated our lands back then. The specifics of his service are unclear to me, but it was good enough that when he died, they paid their debts. He came back and the sapling in the ground of the garden that he loved so much. The fruit that he produces is one of kind, a large round thing the size of your fist with thick purple skin and juicy red insides. It's the oldest family member. He adored his stories, regaling us with his cowboy tales, and he was a tree in spirit, happy to watch the world around him. Addendum, totem, observations, and communion. Observation sensor ranges Rand's equipment in the garden. The totem has been observed doing the following. Using prehensile vines to catch and consume small animals. Releasing an unknown substance into the soil, turning it into highly corrosive mud. Repeatedly attacking nearby personnel unprovoked, dragging prey into the soil while digesting for its nutrients. Communion. Due to the danger presented by the totem, communication was performed through a remote microphone. Revenant, are you present? Several vines twist and unwrap from the tree trunk. Please stop. Vines freeze in place. Can you speak? Speaking is a waste. Vines continue to move towards the microphone. You are Burnley, one of the first. Whoever was here once may have been a Burnley, and now a Burnley-shaped hole. Absence of familiarity. You know what happened here? This house was once filled with spirits, memories enduring after demise. Burnley's clan was beyond death. What's changed? The light shone through a glass, darkly. Something cosmic turned its eyes on a family in Mississippi, leaving behind nothingness in its wake. Look to the skies, little one. The twig snaps. He is able to breathe again. No activity has been recorded from the totem sense.
I was looking through my archives the other day when I came across an old journal of mine, all from my expedition to the Iron Eye. I do. I actually I played Red Dead Online with Lex the other day. One story of mine, whose father had been killed in battle. He was told by a shaman that his father's spirit, his revenant, was watching over him, and would continue to do so for his sons and his son's son, and so on. Comforted by this knowledge. Many years later, I was subject to a curse from a rival house, something to plague the misfortunes upon his family. This week he felt a presence by his side, one he did not realize was even there, changed, morphing into something to nothing. A black hole in the shoulder, constantly pulling at an unignorable presence of nothingness. The shaman told him plainly, while his spirit was no longer with him, was no longer the thing walking by his side. I just have online. I had the full game on my Xbox quite a while ago, but then Brosco sold the Xbox without telling me, so I don't really have access to it anymore. I would like to play it again sometime, but I can't really afford it right now. So 100 gifts for online, am I right? Like, Lord. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, it's a shame how Rockstar has neglected Red Dead Online. Maybe because just Red Dead draws a different audience compared to the base game. Well, not the base game, compared to GTA, but I think it's a shame how Rockstar neglected Red Dead Online and how they're continuing to neglect Red Dead Online. It's a fun game. At this point, the Foundation was approached by Laura Norman, the son daughter of Lyle and Aberline. Due to her extensive efforts to divorce herself from the family name, under contract efforts failed to reach her. An interview was conducted. Addendum. Interview Laura Norman. E. Burnley. Thank you for getting to speak with us, Miss Norman. Laura, I haven't spoken to anyone about my family in decades. I've seen this house in years. Which must be very jarring. We're told that this house no longer has a history of being haunted. Yes, it was just a fact of life for us. It's something to work around. You know, we're all afraid. The fear from ghosts comes from being raised to be afraid of ghosts. We weren't. We thought that the ghost is a bedroom we could go into if we wanted to be alone. The spirit that'll tell you a secret if you bring in a cup of tea. Dad raised us to be inquisitive. Father, tell me about him. He was larger than life. There will never be anyone quite like him. I loved him. Then thought he disowned you. He disowned me because he loved me. He set me free the only way he knew how. And here I am, back again, and he still haven't explained what's wrong with this place. The spectral entities have disappeared. Disappeared? Gone. All of them. How? Ghosts can't die? Don't know why they've suddenly disappeared. When we arrived, 3 remained, but violence and spiteful. They're all gone now too. None of them were ever violent. You must have provoked them somehow, but for them to leave, I don't understand. Those revenants are as much as a part of this estate as the walls. Father left extensive notes on them. The behaviors are completely unlike his observations. An attempt to communications made them leave. The meeting claims that they felt scared, and Mr. Burnley's notes go on length about his fears that he will leave behind, and how the rest of his family is gone. Scared of what? We don't know, but whatever it is, it's in the wine cellar. We don't have a wine cellar. Ultrasound investigations of the ground revealed the presence of 3 objects buried 2 meters deep a distance away from the house. The excavation team dug up the surrounding ground and recovered objects, 3 decomposing bodies, 2 male, 1 female, buried in unmarked graves. DNA Identification reveals them to be Henry Arthur Matilda Burnley, being legal children of Alan Burnley. They had been dead for less than 6 months. Laura, I'm ready. Are you sure? You don't have to do this. Go in this house. I'm not scared. There's nothing left. There's nothing to be afraid of in the dark. Okay. Grab a flashlight, microphone, and camera. Describe us what you see when you go down, okay? Okay. Laura steps into the wine cellar door. Her finger beneath it continues to tap against the ground. I don't remember this door. Not your father's notes or any of the blueprints either. Laura places her hand on the doorknob. The finger retracts behind the door. Laura opens it. The center staircase is visible. The darkness makes it impossible to see more. She steps in and begins walking downstairs. It's really dark. I can't see anything, even with the flashlight. Can you feel anything? Just the rails. It's cold. It's really cold. That's okay. You're doing great. Just keep going. Yeah, I didn't know there was a wine cellar near this house. Wait, no. I do. I remember a wine cellar. Not this one. What do you mean? Dad and I, he took me to the cellar once. I was 4. The entrance was outside the house, then he showed me the empty space and told me he was going to turn it into a juice factory. He didn't like to talk about alcohol in front of us. I'm at the bottom. What do you see? Nothing. Nothing is down here. It's just an empty... No, there's nothing. Nothingness. Oh God. What is it? There's no wine cellar. It's just like there's no ghost in the manor anymore. There's just holes. The space where there's something used to be. I'm afraid I don't understand. Something is eating my family. That is what is left. Nothing. This is what we leave behind. There's nothing left to be afraid of in the dark. Dad? All communication ceases. That left me with a little goosebump. I think I'm gonna call it here today, actually. I liked doing this. I might see how other people feel, how like you all feel about it. But I would like to at least get through the Harbinger sometime, like the rest of the Harbingers, because this has piqued my interest. We got 5 done in about an hour, so the next should be around that time too, I assume. But yeah, with that, that is the stream for the day. Let us do a raid on somebody who is online. Beep Boop. Thank you all so much for, once again for coming to the stream. We might do someone new today. Let's do someone new. I think I know who this is. Let's do them. Do them real quick. But yeah, thank you once again so much for coming. I hope you all enjoyed probably just a little more unique stream. And with that, I will see you all next time. I'll probably be doing a stream tomorrow. And yeah, I'll talk to you all later.